Happy birthday, Clarissa. Please stop everything because what was supposed to be a party devolved into a crime scene complete with cocktails Andes. The rumors are true. Rye showed up without invitation to Papoose and Claressa, and she was over the top. The main suspect, Remy Ma, entered the room as if she had nothing left to lose and everything to say. Converted the entire location into a reality TV reunion, complete with real blood, real shade, and real penalties. There was no speech, no warning, just a long look and a high heel click at Aone line burst the entire room like champagne as she passed through the room, seemingly haunting her own history. And then you brought her to my city, gave her my blueprint, and called it love. Papoose's lashes stopped flowing and he shivered, as if someone had disconnected his soul. What followed was yelling, phones, people fleeing, and Claressa literally getting ready to square up in high heels. Be prepared because we have camera footage, eyewitness accounts, and receipts so outrageous that they might just be a warning or a planned takedown that has been simmering for months. Get someone who wasn't invited from the history of hip-hop. This wasn't a party, rather, it was an ambush. Let's start the chaos and go back in time with a round of applause, celebrating your birthday, music, applause, music, happy birthday, my love, applause, hip-hop and boxing fans. Papoose and Claressa Shields recently announced their engagement. And what better way to show off their affection than a camera's rolling stylist teams on standby, a high-profile, celebrity-studded celebration at one of Atlanta's most exclusive rooftops, champagne flowing like a flood, and the Vine's Remy Ma, the woman who wants to find a ride or die, is the storm that lurks beneath all the glitter and smiles, making her obliged to be loudly delusional. As Papoose flashed a new ring on the court. The original queen of loyalty, the same lady who kept him in check during his jail term, watched from the sidelines as his career changed and the industry changed. When he saw that Remy wasn't supposed to be there at all, sources claimed that her name wasn't on the guest list and that she wasn't even sent an invitation, he assumed that there would be a new hand next to a new queen. People in Papoose's inner circle say they were warned explicitly to act quickly if Remy showed up, but how do you deal with a woman like Remy? You simply hope she doesn't arrive too late in the middle of the second hour of the celebration, and Y is aware of his moniker, so happy birthday, Isaac, just as Claressa was finishing up her fifth plea bride of the night and Papoose were recounting the same tale of how they met at the perfect moment when the music faded. The doors opened, and re-entered without saying anything or providing an introduction. The audience froze, even as the DJ botched the beat, and you could feel the oxygen being pulled away during that famous Remy stroll, slow and deliberate, hair slicked dress, black nails, and crimson eyes fixed on one target. Out of the room. But keep in mind that this was not simply a party. It was a full-scale public relations stunt, a rebranding moment where love triumphs. The media announced it with adorable captions and expert lighting. According to insiders, Claressa attempted to appear indifferent and even said something to the influencers who were pretending to be at the Met Gala when Remy arrived, but it quickly turned into a funeral with free cocktails. They missed that Remy doesn't raise her voice, rather she raises hell, and that she didn't come to shout. Despite her stylist allegedly claiming she wouldn't cause a scene here, she came to end careers. Now, let's discuss the background because this is about history, not just a woman who was rejected. Remy and Pat were more than just a couple. They were a brand, the embodiment of black love. They appeared on chat shows and walked the red carpet together for years, posting each other every Thursday as if it were scheduled. But ever since the Gym Sightings podcast began to circulate, there have been rumors of Papoose and Claressa appearances, simply friends and too much chemistry interviews. The tension had been building, and Remy remained silent, no denial, no damage control. You could tell she was preparing something related to the party. Remy walks directly toward the center where Papoose and Claressa are posing for a picture. Without even looking at the horror or the beast rappers attempting to appear relevant, Claressa appears like Pap dead in the soul and smiles so serenely that it made others shudder. The photographer freezes the clocks as if they were in a Tyler Perry scene. She continues, you brought her to my city, gave her my pattern, named it Love the Disappear, and realized that it wasn't just a warning line. From there, chaos broke out, phones went up, security became alarmed, and a bartender yelled, old hell no. Avoid hiding behind the bar, but Remy didn't flinch. Instead, she turned to go, and before she did, she decided to enjoy the rain. It still smells like me and my ex-IED. No shouting, no. Papoose was unable to speak, Claressa was unable to blink, and the crowd was unable to stop talking by the time our viewer was taken down from the internet. It was just destruction wrapped in fancy clothing and dipped in dignity. Someone posted a complete video to TikTok with the comment, "Remember M just crashed Pap's party and turned it into a funeral rip black love, and it was immediately catching fire. Rema leaves the party like a boss." With no drama or dragging, just vocal annihilation and heels clicking on marble floors, because what transpired after the party wasn't just drama, but Ward A.S. The venue collapsed completely, the DJ quietly unplugged his aux, and Claressa frozen. Stared off into space as if she had just taken a right hook from karma, and Papoose thought he appears to have just witnessed the stock market crash in his honor, and no one knows what to say because, once the blueprint enters and reminds you that she is the building's owner. The real damage was still being uploaded since, within 30 minutes of Remy's boober being taken off, phones were starting ringing. Clips were all over the place, so they were being broadcast out. This isn't a party anymore. It's a by the time the sun rose. The video had already been shared on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, and most likely a Netflix documentary series. The way Pap stood there, silent, yes, he was guilty, WhatsApp, anti-group chat as well, but it was only the beginning. The bartender's close friend, who wished to remain anonymous, emailed DMs to several blog pages with screenshots purportedly from Papoose, and these weren't just "how are you" texts, these were heartfelt late-night messages that made me wish I could go back in time. One line said, "I didn't plan it like this, and she was just present when Remy I miss the quiet time spent with you at this party, don't we?" The internet doesn't play when people get their hands on contradiction, so all of a sudden, family began publishing old interviews such as the one where Papoose stated on national television that Rema is the reason I understand what true love looks like, are now being shared on TikTok with remarks like, "Ain't no way this is Thane." An exclusive interview with the Lie Gossip podcast, the venue manager's voice, disguised, of course, remarked, "That's the same man who gave that speech just to throw it all away for bottle service and boxing gloves." Everyone froze when Remy entered the mood, and security asked if they should intervene. When Pap responded, "No, let her talk," I realized it was over. "Excuse me, you let her to enter and cause chaos?" Claressa Shields was planning her own retaliation when she dumped the bottle service in the room, "Sir, that's not security, it's sabotage." The public was watching, reposting, and picking sides. "Queens don't compete with ghosts, they rule, girl." That ghost simply pulled up, slapped the crown off your head, and left without saying anything. The post featured a full-body glamour image with a flawless gliding caption that "You're calling her a ghost when she created the castle you're trying to adorn," and the comments are cruel, "Ma'am, your party was hacked like a reality show." Remy remarked, "Your entire era sit down, still not done." She went live with a sleek ponytail, shiny lips, and a smug smirk that shouted, "I practiced this in the mirror," directly into the camera and declared, she had her moment, but I'm the future. Suddenly, #InMeQueen became popular, and even those who had been supporting Claressa a week prior switched sides. They claimed that she ought to have dealt with grace instead of shaving when Remy entered the room with class, and Claressa retaliated like a newbie trying to gain admirers before the petty Olympics. Papoose attempted to make a statement on social media, saying, "You ready? No one wins when the family feuds, let's focus on love, sir. You initiated the conflict by proposing to the woman you supposedly sent Remy a text a few weeks ago, and the remarks drove him to his knees. You're quoting Jay-Z while betraying ban," Remy said, "so go write vows to your ring girl instead of statements to us. Your legacy ended." Hi, the behind-the-scenes information was genuine. According to sources, one alcohol sponsor canceled their participation in Claressa and Pap's upcoming pair campaign, and their reality TV pilot arrangement is currently on indefinite hold. The power couple and guests at Music, who are apparently being given a solo, were featured on a huge cover spread that was cancelled by Pause and a major music magazine. Everyone wants to hear Rema's side of the story, so she was chosen for the interview and cover feature. The problem is that she hasn't said a word, blogged anything, or tweeted anything. There were no interviews or clapbacks, just that one night, one sentence, one exit, and the yelling silence. The fans are in full conspiracy mode, examining the Timing and trying to figure out who exactly, some even think a stylist on Clarissa's team, gave Remy immediate access to the place because they knew she would show us. One person commented, "This wasn't random, Remy walked in like she knew." The fundamental question that people are asking is whether this was a party or a collection of events that backfired, because what happened wasn't just public knowledge. She didn't crash the party, instead, she closed it. Shame, her reputation was destroyed, and Claressa is still attempting to salvage her image with rhinestones and hashtags, but the attention is dwindling, the glitz is crumbling, and in the internet was still choking on the fallout from Remy's one-liner ambush, but behind the scenes, the collapse had only caused more harm. The comment area still contains the same remark that Remy left just started, since Remy's actions weren't limited to a viral moment. They also resulted in broken contracts, furious sponsors, and a public pair holding hands while privately observing their empire burn. Papoose and Claressa had intended to take advantage of the engagement wave to launch a new brand, a podcast, an exclusive fragrance line, or even a pilot for a reality show, but suddenly it's all slipping through their fingers more quickly than their PR team can update Twitter. A luxury brand discreetly withdrew CL after a major streaming platform apparently walked out of a doer contract within 24 hours. And Papoose from their influencer network, a magazine cover that was supposed to showcase the new genuine couple, was cancelled in favor of an impromptu layout about what loyalty looks like. The irony of the new Remy, the woman who entered, said one line, left with every headline in her clutch, and didn't yell or hurl a drink, is the subject of a cover rumor. Now, brands want her networks to succeed, and her fans are clamoring for her side, but Remy is playing the long game by abstaining from interviews, tweets, and Instagram captions in favor of silence, which has never sounded more powerful. Meanwhile, Papo is, according to an anonymous buddy, he remarked, "I thought I had control of the moment, I didn't expect her to show up like that." Spiraling insiders say he's sincerely regretting how the party went. Claressa, on the other hand, is still holding on to her queen narrative. She posts daily affirmations on peace power, but no one ever expects or reminds her to show up, they just pray that she doesn't. And rising above, but it's failing since the crowd has already decided and the streets are filled with Ray, regardless of how many crown emojis she includes in her remarks. One fan tweeted that Claressa wore, another claimed that even though Remy left the room wearing the outfit from the Legacy, the stillness she left behind was still louder than Pap's suggestion. One anonymous artist even began to comment. Posted a now deleted Instagram story warning that there would be repercussions if you played with the woman who fed you that plate. Then the Hammer dropped a legal document that was watermarked and blurry, but it was very real. According to the paper, which was leaked to a gossip website, there is a purported non-engagement clause linked to an ongoing split deal between Remy and Pap that would be translated if P took public actions, such as might be held accountable for breaking that arrangement if he made a proposal to another lady before the legal process was complete. We're not talking about apologies, we're talking about 6 figures, and according to frozen sources, at least 2 music businesses are re-evaluating his sponsorships of a joint sneaker collaboration that was set to include him and Papoose, after brand damages. Abruptly leaked messages, purportedly from Pap's end, showed that he knew Remy might show up. One message to a pal about she might, so let's not forget the ugly specifics of Claire's discreet cancellation. Pull up, but I don't think she'll cause a scene. No, sir. She changed the storyline, and then the studio leaked a grainy video that was uploaded by someone who wasn't meant to be there. The internet paused as the recording showed Remy wearing headphones in the booth while dropping bars. The lyrics are hardly audible, but one line, "He let her wear the ring," came through clearly. Created the throne, and suddenly TikTok users began using the statement as captions. Fans created fan cuts of Remy entering the party while the theme music played behind her, and people began remixing the video and referring to it as the realest diss in silence. Remy hasn't verified the song yet, but the streets have already anointed a masterpiece. Good luck with that, as you can't do it quietly. Recuperate from Leal's public treachery, smoke, and a diss track that hasn't even been released yet. Claressa's reputation as an unstoppable fighter is now being tarnished by their premature celebration. After reading this, she gained the man but lost the respect of others because she is the new girl and not the real one. Since the real one always prevails in the end, what should have been a celebration has now turned into a case study, and how quickly fame can change things, because this was more than just a party spoiler, it was a cultural reset. Remy entered without warning or a plan and still succeeded in turning the room around. Networks are reportedly developing bids for Ren's redemption areas that would follow her life after her sentence, according to the press and the power dynamic rumor has it that scandal Papoose and Claressa are taking some time off to recoup, which includes working out how to clean up the mess they tossed confetti on. Meanwhile, Remy's team hasn't even verified or denied that silence is still working overtime because, in the world of scandal, the loudest clapback is the one you never have. To the world is waiting for Remy to speak now. Will Pap and Claressa drop the disc? Even attend the wedding, since at this point, the only thing that received they were known to be married. Catastrophe that began as a tale of love turned into a lesson and never disregarding a woman who previously produced You Are Who You Are, and Remy is not in need of. The final thing she said was the only one that was important, so that the dust has calmed down and the glitter has been removed. One question remains after getting off the floor. Did Remy simply show up at a party, or did she enters a tradition that was never? Papo believed that he was hers to lose. Claressa, relishing a fresh start, believed she was standing in triumph.